Hello, Top Gun Rivalry followers, supporters, and friends. It is your boy Bill. That is Scott. We are going to talk a little Dodgers update today. Usually we do it on Monday. Today's Tuesday. Scott's been like a world traveler. He and his family have been to like Florida and Florida again, and then something about
Just,
Florida
just,
and golf, and I
just,
don't know, but they've been around.
just Florida. I've become my cousin's golf buddy, and so sometimes he literally pays for me to go on golf trips with him. So this time he
I
paid.
I need a cousin like that.
I'm not joking. And
And
this time he paid for my wife and daughter to tag along too, so that I wasn't away from my ladies for too long. So
I
I've got a
I'm
little
all
fun,
I need
played
a
a little
cousin like
golf.
that. Does your cousin need a cousin?
Yeah, I'll see what he can do. We'll add you in, get you
I
in a
don't
little.
golf, but I can definitely be
Hey,
comic relief in the golf
That's
cart.
hey, ride in a cart with us and eat some snacks and tell some jokes. That's all we really.
All I'll do is I'll take one of those horns,
There you
right,
go.
and I'll wait and see who's winning towards the end when it's getting competitive. And
Just
right
give.
as you're getting ready to swing on, oh,
Oh,
so anyways, all right,
we're back. And
Scotty,
Dodgers
there's
are winning, and we're happy.
yes, 8 out of 9 last games they could have won on Sunday night against Atlanta.
Yeah, probably.
Terrible at bat by Austin Barnes to end the game.
Yeah, really bad, really bad.
I mean, that guy looked like he was outmatched the whole at bat.
Sure, either at that point why you're not pinch hitting for him. I mean, I know you've given Will Smith the night off, but at like that point in the game, the importance of that, where the runners like where Kim was, like I don't know. I thought maybe you'd bring somebody you had a little more faith in that spot than Austin Barnes.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because if you watch his at bat, he struck out on 3 pitches. And
Hmm.
the first pitch he swung out was a couple inches outside, but it was interesting because he was way behind it. And then the next pitch, he took a 96 mile an hour pitch down Broadway. And I'm like, dude. And then he
Yeah,
calls timeout, and you can see in his head he's done. Very
yeah,
next pitch, he
you could see
strikes
it in
out
his
on
eye.
him. I'm
I was
like,
like, great, he's gonna, and then he swung at a ball 2 feet below the strike zone.
yeah, exactly. Four, speaking of golf.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But
Terrible.
they took to the Marlins yesterday, as they should. Shohei is starting to hit bombs. My only concern with that is he's starting to hit bombs, but nobody's on in front of him.
No, I know.
And that's an issue for me.
About that, we talked about that last week. That's an issue. They're gonna have to get that figured out.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, that being said, my great and good friend, uh, Dodgers still have two more with the Marlins. They got four with the Arizona Diamondbacks. But talk to me about some of the positives that you've been seeing um, the last couple of weeks.
I like this new Kim guy. Um, I
Who
like the
doesn't?
fact that Sunday night he was stealing bases, and I felt like we were playing a little bit of. I almost called you when I was watching because I was like, Bill, we got a little small ball going on. So I like that. It's good to see Showy. It's starting to get back in the swing of things. Pardon the pun. Um, and all our most of our guys are seemingly healthy, starting to swing the bat a little. Max Muncy's swinging a little better. I know his average isn't reflecting that, but he's at least I feel like seeing pitches better and getting deeper into at bats. Um, and look, look, it's hard to argue when you're leading your division, especially the division we're in. So it's 8 out of 9. You'll take that anytime. We should have beat the Braves Sunday night, and it would have been 9 straight. But hey, you can't win them all,
No,
and
you can't win them all.
you
You
just can't.
can't win them all.
And we were in Atlanta, so to take 2 or 3 and win the series, we've talked about this too. That's all you want going into a series. If you can leave town with more wins than losses, you're happy. And if you do that every time, you're going to win your division and win about 100 games.
Exactly. And what I'm liking about these Dodgers is um what I'm liking about these Dodgers is they're committing to good players. And even though they've got a rough pitching staff right now, as far as a lot of
Yep.
guys on the IL,
Yep.
Dustin May did not show up very well in
You know,
Atlanta,
you know,
which is fine.
it is, but here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. He kind of righted the ship the last couple of innings pitching, and he got him some innings. and still only gave up the 4 runs. So that was at least encouraging that maybe
Yeah.
he's on the track to figuring some things out. And look, that's kind of the key, right? I think Greg Maddux is the one who used to say it. Like, you know, when you're at this level, when you've got all your stuff working for you, you're probably going to win games. He's all the key is finding a way to win when it's not all working for you, when you don't
Yeah.
have it all in there. And they
Well,
lost. And they lost, but like I said, he at least, he gave up some runs early, but then he kind of righted the ship, struck some guys out, started to look a little more like the Dustin May we're hoping he can become. So,
well, let's call a spade a spade. It was Austin Riley 4, Dodgers 3.
oh yeah,
It
it was.
was it was
It
two
was.
very bad pitches to Austin Riley,
Yep, exactly.
and that's all that it became. So it was what it was. You take those for what it's worth.
There's no question he
Move on.
scuffling early, and he got a little bit better. But hopefully, like we've said, hopefully that these guys that we want to count on can get things, together over the next couple months. Because the key is down the stretch, heading into the playoffs and in the playoffs. I don't think
I've been
there's.
joking with people, Scotty, the last couple of days, calling the Dodgers America's team, and I'm doing it to Padres fans. I'm doing it to Giants fans. I'm doing it to Yankees fans because because
Well, you know what? Look, America has a good percentage of bandwagon fans, so they probably are America's team right now. They just won the World,
America's team.
they just won the World Series. There's plenty of bandwagoners jumping on that bandwagon. So
Yeah, yeah, 100%. 100%. So let's talk Dodgers schedule for a second. You and I were
yeah,
talking about this beforehand. Then we're going to go back into some players. I want to talk about specifics with the Dodgers with you. So first and foremost, the Dodgers have two more today and tomorrow with Miami. Then
yep,
they go to Arizona. They play four. They have a day off, and then they get the Athletics, who are playing a lot better than what people anticipated, in second place in the AL West. Then they play the struggling Angels,
yep,
and then we start to get into um, a routine again. The Diamondbacks again. Then we get in a 14-day span. We have one day off. We play the Mets 7 times, the Yankees 3 times, and the Guardians. So we have a stretch there of of 14 days that can get a
yeah,
little interesting. So talk to me a little bit about the next 10 games or so.
yeah. So I mean, we should on paper win the next two against the Marlins. D-backs are going to be a battle just because it's NL West. Football in the brain, I guess.
Dun 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 dun
Yeah,
dun 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 dun.
NL West. Look, everyone hates the Dodgers in the NL West anyway. I mean, our biggest rival's probably the Giants, but all the other teams hate us anyway. So for them, we're everyone else's biggest rival in the NL West, and so you're going to get Arizona's best shot. Plus, you're the defending world champs. I'm hoping we can at least salvage a split with the D-backs. Obviously, winning that series would be even better, getting at least three wins. But yeah, at least that they travel most of the way back, and the travel day on Sunday afternoon, and then a day off from Arizona back to LA. Athletics, that's like you said, they're playing pretty good baseball right now. Angels, a couple of weeks ago, I'd have been like, oh man, they're playing good, but they've returned to being the Angels.
Yes,
late. So
the Angels.
Sadly, with that freeway series, and then D-backs back at home. So you kind of got this familiarity going to go on here, with some of these teams. Like with the D-backs, you're playing them two different series in over a week and a half span.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, same thing with the Mets. You're going to New York, play at the Mets, and then hitting the Guardians on the way home, who are playing pretty decent baseball too. And then you got Yankees at home, who are playing well. Aaron Judge is on fire. Not really the lineup and team you want to face when, and frankly, the Mets aren't either. When you're kind of still dealing with the injuries that the Dodgers are in the pitching staff. That's rough. And then here's the crazy part is you have that day off. I'm just looking at this. You have that day off the 29th after the Guardians. And then they play the Yankees 3 at home, the Mets 4 at home, the Cardinals 3 on the road, the Padres 3 on the road. So they got a stretch there with no breaks, no days off against a bunch of pretty good baseball teams and all teams that always play the Dodgers tough, even when they're not good.
Yeah.
So
That's
that,
why that's why this stretch of the next 10 games or so with the
yeah,
Angels, the Athletics,
that's why
the
it's important because
yeah,
you're hoping to play about 500 ball or better against all those once you start that series at New York Mets. So that's why, yeah, this next series against the D-backs, the A's, the Angels, and then the D-backs again. The next 2 weeks, they gotta make some hay, especially um, being at home for 9 of those games.
yeah, 100%.
And
Okay,
then
let's talk about individual performances. But before
okay,
we do that, we're about halfway through the show. The show is going to be a half hour long. We're not gonna extend it an hour out. We're enjoying giving you Dodger content, but we've been given some feedback that a half hour would be better than an hour. So we're about a half hour through. A couple of things I want to mention before we get started. Number one, if you're not part of the 27 ounce club, you need to be part of the 27 ounce club.
that's
This, if you are a card collector, this gives you your team, if it's not already taken, your team, it gives you a $5 off discount code. It gives you shipping, which will ship out once a month for you. And it also gives you 24-hour early access to any other breaks. Scott learned the hard way the other day that a member of the 27 ounce club went in and ganked his Dodgers from him. It can happen.
yeah.
So, I mean, do what you got to do there. But in addition to that, I also want to thank Lang Roofing in the LA area for being one of our corporate sponsors. They recently joined the corporate sponsor club of Top Fan Rivalry, and we are so grateful for Ryan and his staff over there. So,
Well,
Scott,
thank you.
anything you want to say about the 27 ounce club before we talk about individual
Just
Dodger performances?
join us. It's a lot of fun. Like Bill said, it gets you early access to the other breaks that aren't the 27 ounce club breaks that we do every other week, but you have your team locked in for those two 27 ounce. And then you can also get additional teams each time that and mix it up, get some different teams. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun part of this community, and yeah, just come join us. We'd love to have you. Watching the breaks is fun. You get to see people's comments. We've had some guests on there the last couple of times, which is always fun too. So come join us. Just that's all I can say. It's worth the minimal investment. And who knows, you could end up with a card that's worth more than your investment. We've had that happen a couple times already. So
A number of times. Yeah.
yeah,
In fact,
you know,
in
it's
fact, I in the box break yesterday, I decided to take Pittsburgh because nobody had Pittsburgh. And I said, "Oh, I'll take Pittsburgh. I'll pay for Pittsburgh." And I ended up getting a Paul Skeens
mm,
card that was a refractor card, which is worth what I paid for it, more than what I paid for in
right there, right there. All it
that
takes is
aspect.
one of those cards, and that's one of the cool things, by the way, for those thinking about it, and especially those getting back into like the card collecting game's different. Like they put special cards in all these boxes, and there's the possibility of getting some pretty amazing and valuable cards just in a regular box. So come join us. This is a lot of fun.
Okay, so Scott, let's talk about individual slash Dodger performances with the
Yeah.
last 10, 15 minutes of the show. At present, starting today's play Tuesday morning, the day after Cinco de Mayo or Cinco de Bronco, depending on who you are, right?
Right.
Um,
Or my
the
mom's birthday if you're me. So
oh,
yeah.
there you go. The Yankees have 58 bombs, the Dodgers have 56. They're number
Right.
two in the MLB.
Yep.
Is that a good sign or a bad sign for the Dodgers?
I mean, based on the makeup of the team, I think it's a good sign. You've put together a team that you rely a little bit on that. We've talked about that. We wish they'd play a little more small ball than they do, but you have guys that's part of what you're paying them for is to come in and hit homers. So, um, you look down the list and it's of the top, what do we got? 5, 6. It's pretty much, I don't know that you thought Tommy Edmonds was going to be, hitting 8 tanks, but, and being Tommy Tanks as we went into the season, but hey, we'll take it. Um,
Exactly.
but the other guys, I mean, you knew Hernandez, you knew Otani, you knew Freddie Freeman, you knew Pajes was going to be Mookie Betts is right there.
Hmm.
A
Hmm.
little surprised Kike Hernandez is up there, but that's partly only with 5, but that's partly because he's played a little more than I think we anticipated with him. And he's playing okay. So you gotta we're getting the averages are going up with all of these guys. But yeah, I think overall being at number 2 there in home runs, I think that's a good thing, especially with the makeup of the team that we have.
Dodgers have 303 hits, number 7 in the MLB.
That's a little disappointing.
Believe it or not, the Cubs are the highest. And do you know who has the least amount of hits in all of Major League Baseball as a team?
I'm going to take a guess. I don't know this, but I'm going to guess the Braves.
Who?
The Braves.
Nope.
All right, enlighten me.
The Angels.
Oh, that doesn't. I was thinking it was going to be a surprise one.
The Angels are below the Rockies. They're below the White Sox.
Dude, I am sorry. I don't know the guy personally, but it might be time to let somebody else own the Angels.
Yeah.
Like it just that ever since he's taken over, they have done nothing but go in the wrong direction.
Mhm. Now, now here's one of the
Meanwhile,
facts.
and by the way, have one of the best players in baseball on their team, and at one point, as we know, prior to last season, had 2 of the best players in the league, and still couldn't even make the playoffs. That's
Number
pretty pathetic.
17 in the MLB with 26 stolen bases are the Dodgers. This is
Okay.
something that we've talked about.
Yep.
One of the other things that we're in the top percentage of the league. We're number 11 in strikeouts at 293.
Yeah, I don't like that, and especially because that's kind of been the Dodgers' MO the last few seasons is they don't strike out.
Now,
They get deep in counts and they work walks, and I don't like that.
the flip side to that is the Mets on the pitching side have 332 strikeouts on the defensive side. Phillies have 331. The Dodgers are number 3 at 329.
Okay.
So we're only 3 away from that. So
Okay.
defensively, we're doing the things that we need to do, right?
Right. Right.
Um, offensively,
Yeah. Well, you can look down the line, and you can see part of that is that there's some guys that usually have Conforto's hitting 146, Max Muncy's hitting 179.
mhm. Now the Dodgers do have a team ERA a little higher than I would like, 3.77, but we'll take it, right? Um, a couple of other interesting facts or things that I would love to get your thoughts on here. I'm pulling them up as we speak. Here. Teoscar obviously is leading the team with
Right.
9 bombs. And he also has Shohei nipping at his buds with 9 bombs. Freddie the Teeth Freeman. But how about Andy Paez? Andy Paez has been playing fantastic. Talk
Yeah.
to me about this guy.
Last several games. In fact, I fully expected him to be the hero in that game Sunday night against the Braves. It didn't work out that way, but I was feeling that. But look, that's a guy that we thought had some potential, and he's been getting a little bit more playing time because of some injuries that we've had early on with some guys, and then things like Shoei taking some leave for his baby, which 100% behind that. In case anyone didn't listen to our last show, we are both 100% behind that paternity leave for him to be with his child. But yeah, that's look, and that's what it takes. You're gonna have to have some guys step up, especially when you've got guys who are scuffling that we're hoping wouldn't, like Max Muncy. So that's when you
Mhm.
need a guy like Andy to step up, and sounds like he's been kind of Tesker has kind of taken him under his wing a little bit and tried to help him, and it looks like that some of that has paid off a little bit. So hopefully that continues.
Yeah. Teoscar has the most hits in the team with 41. Shohei's got 38. Marcus Lynn has got 33. Marcus Lynn Betts has got 33.
Yep,
Andy Paez has got 31. He's got more than Freddie the Teeth.
I know it. I
Um,
know.
yeah, which
Had a
is
few more. He's had a few more at bats because Freddie missed some games in there too. I mean, he's missing about 40 at bats or 30 at bats compared to Andy. So that's part of that. But that's what you like to see, is a guy that you weren't really counting on stepping up.
Yeah. So one of the statistics, Scott, tell me if this bothers you. The number 40 applies to Max Muncy and Shohei Ohtani. What does that number 40 apply to?
Oh, that's strikeouts. I know that. Uh,
Yeah, Michael Conforto with 38. Is
yep.
that bothersome to you? Max is gonna Shohei's gonna figure it out. Is Max a bother to you in that category?
Yeah, a little bit, especially because he's only got 17 walks to go with that 40 strikeouts. Like Shohei's got 23 walks to go with his 40 strikeouts, plus he's hit batting 292.
Hmm.
So, you know what I mean? Like you look across that, and yeah, you'd like to see him strike out less than that, but he's still hitting at almost a 300 clip, and
Yeah.
he's second on the team in hits, and he missed a few games. So, um, I that his doesn't bother me as much as Max's does, because you're 40 strikeouts, you're batting 179, your on base percentage is only 302.
Mhm.
I mean that's just not what you expect from Max.
So
Um,
Shohei Ohtani is on pace to set a record again. I just looked this up. He's got 10 stolen bases. He's got 9 home runs. So he's almost a double digit guy again,
wow.
right?
For a
Probably,
month.
yeah, probably gonna get back on the bump in July. Scott, is it a win-win if Shohei is a 35-35 guy and gets us 4 or 5 wins on the bump?
Absolutely, absolutely, he is. I don't think I don't think can expect another 50-50 year, especially since that had never happened before. But you don't know. You never know. But yeah, I mean, if you could get to 35 homers, oh, excuse me, 35 stolen bases, and get out there and win us half a dozen games, yeah, and especially because his arm is one you're going to want in the postseason.
Hmm.
And so if he can get a few wins and some confidence back in that, and knowing that he can do what he can do, man, then we're really then the other teams are really wondering what they're going to do.
So is it possible with the weather warming up, Scott? I don't want to be too much of a homer here, but is it possible that Shohei Ohtani is a 30-30 guy by the All-Star break?
It's possible for sure. I mean, you've still got he's basically at 10-10 right now, and
Mhm.
you've got little more than 2 months. So if he averages that same out, that's 30-30. I mean, probable, probably not, but
I say
hey,
2020 for sure.
12,
30-30 might be a
yeah,
stretch, right?
2020 for sure. I'm going to say like 85% he gets to 25-25 before the All-Star break. But it's at least possible. And you know, starting to heat up. You're also playing in a few stadiums over the next months that have some, you know, favorability to where he hits the ball, getting it out of the park. You know, balls seem to fly pretty good out of Diamondback Stadium down there in Arizona, in that dry area.
So the one last one I want to mention to you, and I'm sorry everybody that I'm throwing statistics, but Scott and I haven't talked for 2 weeks about the Dodgers. Okay, Yamamoto. He's 4-2. Okay, you can't really. I mean, listen, Mackenzie Gore has almost 70 strikeouts, but he pitches for the Nationals and he's 2-3. He's not
Right,
going to have a huge win loss record there. But
right.
here's the deal. Yamamoto has pitched 40 innings in his 7 starts. So he's
Yep.
averaging just shy of 6 innings per start, 49 strikeouts in those 40 innings. And
Yep.
here's what's the killer: a .90 ERA.
Yeah. Man, that's what that tells you, is in those two losses, he probably didn't get very much run support.
Yeah, he probably lost 1-0 or something. I mean,
With his line, you roll across that line. His WHIP is under one, his ERA is under one, his batting average against is 171. He's got almost 50 strikeouts. I mean, what else? Only 13 walks. He's only given up 2 bombs.
Mhm.
Like you couldn't ask for much better from him, from Yamamoto, for sure.
No. And if this guy stays on the pace with the strikeouts and the innings, and assuming he gets your standard 30 starts or 35 starts,
Right.
35 starts, you're looking at 250 strikeouts this season.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Hmm.
That'd be
Guys,
absolutely amazing.
as they would say in Coming to America, that boy good.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man.
I mean, Scott, I
Hey,
can't
Hernandez
begin to
hasn't
tell
been
you
pitched.
how
Good for
excited
him.
I am about this crew and what they're doing. And I know that we hit a little bit of bump in the road and everybody was kind of
You're gonna.
freaking out. Oh, the Dodgers,
Yeah,
and
I
believe it
wasn't.
or not, Scott, I even heard out here in LA chance of fire Dave Roberts. I'm thinking you
Oh, give
guys are
me
a
a
bunch of
break.
idiots.
Dude, Dave Roberts is never going to. Dave Roberts should never be fired. That's not 100% true. But stop, dude.
Yeah,
Look at how many divisions we've only lost the division once
yeah,
since he's been manager, and that was like by a game to the
yeah,
Giants.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and we ended up beating them in the playoffs that year, so it didn't matter in the long run. And on top of that, we've been to 4 World Series and won 2. What else do you want? Go look at every other team in baseball, including the Yankees. You're not getting those numbers. Who and you and I talk about this. Who are you going to get to replace him? You get rid of Dave Roberts. Okay, great. Who replaces him? Who's better than Dave Roberts in baseball right now? Nobody. Sorry.
Nobody, nobody.
LA
Exactly.
fans have that. What have you done for me lately? Attitude with everything, and sometimes it gets a
That's
little.
that's exactly what have you done
Sometimes
for
it
me
just gets a
lately?
little. It's like, come on, guys. Like you're leading the NL West.
Hmm.
You're
Hmm.
you're on track to win 100 games, and you haven't even had your full healthy pitching staff yet.
Well, see, my argument here, Scotty, is real simple, right? You have Dodger fans that have been Dodger fans since 2017, and the sky is falling if we're not making the playoffs, not going deep into the playoffs, everything like that. Then you have the Dodger fans that are lifelong Dodger fans that have seen the Manny Wood years, that have seen the years that we got this close to the playoffs or got knocked out in the first round, that can remember Steve Finley's grand slam
Yep.
in 04, 05 because we hadn't made the playoffs in so long. Can
Right.
remember the 90s, the 80s,
Right.
things like that. So,
Yeah, we remember that 88 was the last time, up until 2020 that they had won a World Series. And so, look, I didn't like that they fired Donnie Baseball. Manager, I like Don Mattingly, but they made the right choice. Sorry. Donnie Baseball's out of baseball, and Dave Roberts has won 2 World Series. So who came out on top
yeah.
there?
Yep. No, I agree with that, my friend. I agree with that. So, okay, Scotty, as we wrap up, let's have a quick let's have a quick thought pattern. The next 10 games, Dodgers two more in Miami, four against the Diamondbacks, three against, we'll call it the next 9 games, three against the A's. What are the Dodgers going to be doing?
They beat the Marlins twice. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think they go 6-3 or
Three.
2,
Okay. Six
maybe
and
seven and
six and three is not bad.
three. 6-3. I think they beat the Marlins both times. I think they beat the D-back. They beat the A's twice. They maybe lose one to the A's and out of that 9. That's my guess. I was only one off on the last one. That was because they lost all the games to the Cubs. That's what was squarely on the previous time we said that. But hey, that 6-3, you'll take it. I'd love to maybe be 7-2 and win that series against the D-backs.
Mhm.
Instead of just split it, but just I'm trying to.
Yeah,
It
we'll just
is
have to see how it
baseball.
plays itself out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We'll see how it plays itself out.
Plays
All
out.
right, my friends, we are going to wrap up Dodger update for this week. We'll be back in 2 weeks talking to you. We'll be a little deeper into the season. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we get some distance between
Yeah.
let me say this right. Hopefully America's team gets some distance between what are you laughing about? We didn't say anything funny. Against the Padres and against the hated Giants. So
That's right.
Scott, I love doing this with you. I love your analysis of it. Let's do it again in 2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks, and we'll see how accurate I was on 6-3-7-2 prediction. So
Amen to that.
there you
All
go.
right. All we will talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Thanks.